Okay. So that was the first method that we did, where we can solve linear systems graphically or using graphs. Here, what we're going to do is the substitution method. Okay? So we have a couple of steps that we go through. Okay? Step one is to isolate the variable x or y in one of the equations. Okay? So we need to get x or y, it doesn't matter which one, we just need to get it by itself. Okay? In the first example, equation 2 is already rearranged, so we're good to go. So if you ever have anything in y plus mx plus b form, you have y isolated. Okay? And then for this specific one, we're going to sub negative 2x minus 1 in for y into the other equation, into equation 1. Okay? And then, well, kind of gives you the answers here, but then we'll sub the x back into equation 2 and find the final solution. Okay, so this, just to try and help with the colors, I'm going to keep equation 1 blue and equation 2 green. Okay, so equation 2 is already isolated for y. Which will be at that hyper right now. It's good. Exciting one. Fire it up. So I have y equals 2x minus 1. Okay, this is my equation 2. Then I have equation 1, 2x plus 3y equals 13. Two x minus 1. That. 2. Okay, so that's what they kind of look like graphed out. At the point where they intersect, right here. At that point where they intersect, x and y are the same in both equations. So it's the same x and same y in equation 1 as in equation 2. Okay? So, guys, listen up because this can be tricky. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take y, the green y, and say it's the same as my blue y. I'm going to take all of this and sub it in for y. Okay? So that's why the colors I think might help. So I'm still going to have 2x plus 3. But now, instead of saying y, I already know that y equals 2x minus 1. So instead of writing y, I'm going to write 2x minus 1 equals 13. Okay? Does that make sense? I have y equals 2x minus 1. So I put y, I put 2x minus 1. So I just took everything that y equals, all this, and plopped it down right there. Okay, everyone watch. Julio, watch. Okay, I took my 2x minus 1, it comes up, and it goes right where y is right there.
So it's substitution.
It's substitution, exactly. It subs in for what y is. Big brain, that's why we call it the substitution method. Okay, so I take the 2x minus 1, this equals y, put it right where the y was. Okay? Now, instead of having x and y in this equation, all I have is x. I have an x here and an x here. I can solve for x in this equation. Okay? So I'm going to distribute that out to get 2x plus. What's 3 times 2x? How many x's would I have? I think I heard it. Yep. Robbie?
6.
Perfect. Well, 6x, 3 times -1, -3 equals 13. Now, I want to keep all my letters on the left and put all my numbers on the right. Okay? So I'm going to take this -3 and move it over to the right to keep my letters over here. So -3, when it moves over to the right side, is going to become +3. So I have 2x plus 6x equals 13 plus 3. Now I have all of my letters on the left, all my numbers on the right. I can simplify them a bit. So 2x's plus 6 more x's would be 8. 3 plus 13, or 13 plus 3 rather, would be 16. Okay, and now how do I solve for x? Perfect. We divide both sides by 8. That cancels out that 8. And we're left with 16 divided by 8 on this side. And 16 divided by 8 will be 2. Okay, so the biggest kind of mind warping thing is probably this step right here. Okay, after that, we're just solving for x, like we did of unit 4. Okay. I gotta look at the summary sheet again for this one. But what I might do is I'll either put them all into one summary sheet, or I'll let you use your unit 4 and 5 summary sheets on the test for this one. Okay, just because like the solving stuff, that was back in unit 4. Okay, so either we'll put it onto all one big summary sheet, or I'll let you throw one too, probably. Okay, so we have our x coordinate, but we still need to find out what y is. Hey, bud. So what I do is I take my x and I sub it back into equation number 2. Okay, because remember I had y equals 2x minus 1. So now I'm going to take my x equals 2 and plop it in right there.
Y equals 2 times 2.
Perfect. Y equals 2
Times 2.
times my Bluetooth, because that's what I got from equation number 1.
Y equals 4 minus 1.
Y equals 4 minus 1. Y equals 3. Okay, so I have my x, I have my y. The last thing is just to put it into the point form, point coordinate form, okay? So therefore, the point of intersection, my point right there, is 2, 3. Okay. So what we did is we subbed 2, equation number 2, into equation 1. That's what we did here. And then what we did here was sub equation 1 into 2. Okay? So it doesn't matter the order that we do it in, but we're always going to sub 1 into 2 and then 2 into 1. Or 2 into 1 and then 1 into 2. Okay, does anyone have this down or have like a picture of it? Copy? You can just take a picture of it. Copy or just copy. Picture book. Buddy. Pager. Okay. Now my next one. I have 2x minus 3y equals 1, and x plus 2y equals 18. Okay? So I don't have any in, guys, I don't have any slope-y-intercept form. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of rearranging. Okay? So you can solve for any variable. You can solve for the x in 1, the y in 1, the x in 2, or the y in 2. Usually 1's going to be the easiest to solve for because it's already kind of going to be by itself. Which one do you think we should solve for? 2, x or y? It is in equation 2, but do you want to solve for the x or do you want to solve for the y? Julio?
X.
Why? Oh, sorry. Yes, but like W, H, Y. Like, why do you want to solve for that?
That's how we started last time.
The last time we actually started with y, but you're right. We want to start with x this time. But why do you think we want to start with x? Yeah, that's okay. Out of all of these, this x is the only one that doesn't have a coefficient with it. Doesn't have a number with it. Okay. So you can see that this x is already kind of by itself, so it's going to be the easiest one to solve for. Okay, so what we do, this is blue, will be green again. So I'm going to take my 2y and bring it to the right. So x is equal to negative 2y plus 18. Okay. Now I have an x that's all by itself. I can substitute in this x into equation number 2. Okay, so this is still equation number 2. I'm going to sub equation 2 into equation 1. So I have 2x minus 3y equals 1. I have 2. I'm going to sub all since x equals 2y plus 18, I'm going to say that this x right here is also negative 2y plus 18. They're both the same thing because equals means equals. Doesn't matter where, which equation it is, they're always going to be equal. Okay, so just like we did last time, we're going to take like the equation here, equation that was over here, and move it over to here, where we had that. Okay, and now I'm going to solve for y instead of solving for x, because I have y's this time. So this time we're going to find y first, and then we'll find x. Just like we're solving 2 into 1 again, it doesn't matter which way we do it. If we solve for x first, solve for y first. If we sub 2 into 1 or 1 into 2, it'll work either way. So distribute my 2. So 2 times -2, -4y. 2 times 18, we'll get 36, minus 3y equals 1. So I distribute it out. What do I want to do now? What would be my next step?
Move all the numbers to the right.
Perfect. I'm going to move all my numbers to the right. So 4y, I'll keep on the left. -3y, keep on the left as well. I'll move over that 36. Okay, -4y minus 3y equals 1 minus 30. And now I can simplify these sides. So what's -4y minus 3y? Robbie.
-7y.
Good, -7y. We keep getting more negative. And 1 minus 36 will get us
-35.
perfect, -35. Now I want to get y all by itself. How can I do that? Divide by -7. Okay, so if you like to do like divide by -7 on both sides, or just bring over the -7. So -35 divided by -7. Which you can try on a calculator, but we should get 5. Positive 5. Because you have a negative and a negative. So I found y, but what do I still need to find? X. So to find x, I already kind of solved for x up here, right? I want to sub 1 into 2. Okay, so I want to take my y from equation number 1 and put it into equation number 2. So we already rearranged it. We have x equals -2y plus 18. So we already isolated x. It's going to be really easy now. We have x equals -2 plus 18. I take that 5 and put it in for y. Plus 8. So x equals -10 plus 18, which would be positive 8. So the last step is just to write that the point of intersection is your answer's in point form coordinates. So my x is 8 and my y is 5. Okay. So try that for today.